Okay, so I gotta be honest here when I say this, and I'm not even joking. Like, this is like a trigger warning in a sense. If you guys are not okay with talking about weapons and stuff, I would click off this video now. Just being nice, just being safe, and I know YouTube's guidelines is always in the way of things, so that's just a warning for you guys. But if you guys do want to hear the story, and this one goes kind of crazy, make sure you guys leave a like and subscribe. It seriously helps a lot if you guys do. And also on top of that, Devil's Tango merch is still down below, so make sure you guys go check that out as well. Now, one thing I figured out over the years is that there's a lot of school shootings nowadays, and the school shootings have been like an all-time high for some reason, and I don't get why people do this. And I think I've said this in another video: don't bring weapons to school. Okay, it's just not it. Like, there's no flex in bringing a weapon to school. There isn't. And today's story is kind of goes along with it. Yo, what is going on, you guys? My name is Bubba, and welcome back to another crazy story. So today's story actually goes back from when I was in high school. You see, I remember back in high school, I went to like this really sketchy school where basically gangsters and, you know, being, you know, a part of a gang was considered a flex. I don't know why. I don't know why being, you know, gangster in a way is considered cool in any way, shape, or form. Like, I'm gonna be honest, my only focus back in high school was just basically getting good grades and getting the hell out of there. But apparently, for some reason, kids thought dealing drugs and, you know, doing, you know, the Devil's Tango and holding weapons was considered a flex. Now, I'm gonna be honest, back in high school, I remember there was this one group of people in my school. They were like the wannabe gang kids. And I'm serious. Like, they would go to like the nearest drugstore and literally just like start stealing candy. Like, they would literally be considered like thieves and, well, as they wanted to be called, gangsters. Now, you guys are probably wondering like, oh, what does this have to do with you? Like, why are you part of the story? Well, you see, I remember one time back in high school, I was kind of just chilling around doing my own thing, and I had this PE class. And in PE, you know, obviously you had to go to the locker room, you had to change and all this stuff. And I remember I went to go do the exact thing, but I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I was a little late for class because, well, I was eating lunch. Yeah, I know it's not an excuse to be late for class because you were eating, but let's be real here. When you get a fat pizza, okay, and you don't feel like moving after because of all that grease in it, it doesn't help. But I remember, like, you know, me heading for my PE class, and I went to the change room. And when I went to the change room, I'm not gonna lie to you, as I was getting changed and I opened a random locker to, you know, obviously put my bag and stuff into it, something fell on the ground. Now, I remember looking at the ground and I saw something shaped like a, well, I can't say the thing, but you guys know what it is. A gun, a weapon. Okay, we're gonna call it a weapon for this video. And yeah, I saw a weapon fall on the ground. Now, at first I was really scared because I'm not gonna lie, that was like kind of like my first time seeing one on the ground of a school, and me seeing like all the trends on TikTok for some reason of people talking about, you know, how school shootings were a thing. It got me freaked out. Now, there was many things I could do in this scenario. One, I could have easily just gone to the teacher and say, hey, there's someone holding a weapon in my PE class, or I could have just, you know, done anything else that would have helped. But I remember I was so scared and so in fear that I actually ended up running away. I skipped PE class. I straight up didn't touch the weapon. I didn't do anything. I just left. Now, you guys are probably wondering like, oh, that's the dumbest thing you ever done. And I agree. It was the dumbest thing. To this day, I always think like, what could I have done better? And I remember anyways, that same day I was walking around the school. It was almost after school and I was just ready to get out of there. I went to my locker. I took my backpack and I was just about to leave. But then after that, I see this kid kind of like showing off, and I remember there was like this big group of people like basically circulating this one singular guy. And this is where I got scared, because I remember this kid kind of like started walking around with his hand on his belt saying like, oh, I got a Glock, you know what I'm saying, I got a Glock in my pants, yeah. And he was basically acting like he was a gang member. And I remember looking at him, and what do you know, tucked in his pants was literally the same weapon I saw in my PE class. Now, at this moment, I didn't really know what to do. I was scared and I was kind of just freaked out in a way. I don't want to say like, oh, like, it's a weapon, I'm scared. Like, no, I was just weirded out because I remember seeing that same exact thing. And the fact that he had it in a locker, just easily any person could have just taken it, was bad. It was like really bad. Anyways, I remember going home that night kind of like, you know, not wanting to go to school the next day because it was just not it. It was just not it for me. I didn't want to go to school and see that same kid, because let's be real here, like when you feel unsafe, that's when you know like you gotta tell someone, you know what I mean? So I remember the next day I ended up going to school because obviously I have to, you know, you need the good grades. And I was looking around my class, and as I was looking around, I was just seeing what was going on. And I remember on the announcements, I heard basically the principal going, today we'll be having a surprise assembly. Please line up your classes and get ready for the assembly. Thank you. At this moment, I was like kind of weirded out because I was like, wait a minute, why are we having an assembly assembly. And I remember as we like all of us were like heading towards like the assembly doors, I remember looking outside the window and I saw there was like a lot of cop cars outside. And by a lot, I want to say more than like 10 of them were outside. Now, this is where I was kind of freaking out because I didn't know what was going on. At first, I was thinking like, oh, like, is he doing something with the weapon? Like, is something going on? Like, my head was going berserk. We all got inside the assembly and basically they started playing music, doing the normal thing, but it still didn't understand why we had a bunch of cops outside. It was puzzling my brain. I was so confused to the point where I actually remember I got up and basically walked out of the assembly. Now, I know you're probably thinking like, are you crazy? Like, you went out there and you wanted to see what was going on? Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Back in high school, I was a really curious kid. I was curious of many things. And when I had the urge to go see something, I would go see it. So I walked out, I went outside and I went to go see what was going on. I went outside to the police officers and I saw what was going on. 1 minute later, I saw this kid that was holding the weapon yesterday, showing it off to a bunch of girls in school, getting arrested. His parents were there. There was a lot going on. He was surrounded. It was scary. And I remember as I was looking at the kid that was showing off his weapon through the window, he was basically looking at me and staring me down. And he was like, kind of like like hitting the window saying, help me, help me, help me. And at that point, not only, you know, I guess did he get arrested in a sense, but that was also the end of his rap career. Funny enough, he was a rapper. And yeah, that's basically it, guys. So thank you guys so much for listening. Sorry if the story was getting way too intense, but that's basically it. If you guys do want to hear more, make sure you guys leave a like and subscribe for more insane, intense stories. And like I always say, fall for more embarrassing stories.